Your insurance company is using space satellites to spy on your home construction.
Right, so what Dr. Sarabhai has brought in, that great culture of scientific temper, or like engineering temperament, the attention to details in every people. Very people in ISRO are like highest levels of integrity. For example, there's something wrong, it's highlighted, it is discussed widely, there is a forum for open discussion, it's celebrated, even if something fails, it's accepted, it's okay, it's part of the development process. Keep doing it again and again. And then that national spirit, so that we have to do for the country, we have to take forward the country, we have to be among the best in the world, because we know that resources are very less. For example, the entire budget of ISRO so far, all cumulatively add together, is less than 1 year budget of NASA.
That's amazing. And if your job was so good at ISRO, why did you leave and start Skyroot?
In fact, I was a part of the team, where like the largest rocket of India was being developed. This is a rocket. I have a very personal connection with this. I was part of the team. This a team which was involved in the development of this rocket, and then I was part of these first 2 missions, successful missions. Now it's turning into the workhorse for the country. Almost every mission so far was successful. And the same rocket which launched the spacecraft which landed near the South Pole of the moon, first time in the world. And very proud to be associated, with this rocket. I want to retire there, but then one fine. Like a lightning strike, so it came like one strike. Why can't we build a rocket company from India? Because I had entrepreneurial ambitions, and rocket tech is my calling, right? So it's like a marriage of 2 passions, and then suddenly felt like this is where my calling is, and then of course the moment I got that thought is literally jerked, It's very difficult, it's not possible, for the reasons we told, because there's no policy in India which enables this, and there is no investment which is happening, is unprecedented. There's no fund which has a thesis for space, right? And then there is no talent in the private sector, right? You have to build a lot of things from scratch, right? So there's a lot of things which the odds of it looks like, but then that odds of failures seem very high, odds of success seem very low. But then I felt like that is the opportunity, and everything is there in a platter, right? Building a rocket company is far easier. When nothing is there, that's when you have to take the first step, right? We took that initial steps. Then we became the first company which is signed an MOU with ISRO, where we got access to all the test facilities once the policy was announced.
Oh wow!
And policy was announced in 2-3 years. I thought it will take 10 years. I was like all in, let it take 10 years. We'll persist and make some progress. Of course, you can build a rocket, but you can't launch a rocket. So you can build it.
So you thought of just building it?
Yeah, building
with
it, waiting it.
The hope that the government will allow you to launch it.
And also it's a chicken and egg problem. Unless you actually build the momentum, what is the incentive of the government to open up the sector? When there is no commerce which is happening, there's no benefits which can come. So today, $600 million is invested in private space mostly in the last 2-3 years. And then there are at least 5,000 plus employees. High-tech employment is being generated in the entire country in the space sector. Just few years, just imagine how next 10 years will look like.
What exactly is Skyroot's business model? Who pays you money, and how do you intend to make a profit?
We are like a logistics company to space.
Okay.
Which is very high-tech logistics. You think of it as rocket science, So literally, so you build a rocket and you launch a rocket, you put a satellite into orbit, and the satellite company pays us for this transportation to space. It's a space transportation service. That's what we do, And then why do they pay? Because they're generating a lot of revenue through communications, through Earth observation. So communication satellites give communications to the Earth, across various regions where, there's no other way to connect. The satellite is the only way to connect.
But how can somebody make money through Earth observation?
Very good question. So it sounds very technical and research word, but Earth observation is a very large industry. It is set to become 30 billion by the end of this decade, is next 5 years. And what it does is that basically these satellites have cameras in space. They click images of Earth, and these are various technologies. There are images. There's something called radar satellites which can image 24/7 in the night, through the clouds. It can image Earth, right? So this can be used for example, defense. Defense is one of the largest users of Earth observation. You safeguard our borders. You track what is happening across on a regular basis, right? And 24/7, right? Surveillance is a very big application, for example. And the other thing is that agriculture. For example, when you want to do precision agriculture.
What is precision agriculture?
So it's for example, if you want to irrigate your crop, right? So generally what we do is like from experience, the farmers, the water is put, and generally water is also subsidized. So you use a lot more water than you actually require most of the times. But actually space cameras are so sensitive that you can even detect even 0.1 Kelvin temperature difference. And then when plants leaves become dry, you know when to irrigate, when is the right time to irrigate the plants, and exactly how much water to put, right?
What are you saying?
Yeah,
Because
so
of the camera.
Yeah, yes. So that's the beauty, so see they're so precise. This is all technology, marvels of technology.
So are you telling me that a camera from space can detect pest in plants?
Absolutely.
From space?
Yeah, that's the beauty of space tech, and then so that is farmers using it, and then fisherman. India has done a phenomenal job.
Fisherman?
Yes. So in fact, ISRO is one of the biggest contributions of ISRO, I think, to common man in India, for example, which less people know about. Is there's something called potential fishing zones, PFZ, which is identified by ISRO satellites, and they identify, like they have like a model which can identify where the right shoals of fish are. For example, like fish will be highly generally around where, like probably there's more food for them, water is warmer, whatever be the reason. So they map the locations where there's a high potential of, that's why they call potential fishing zones. And this is released by radio, or like the information is actually displayed on a very, very regular basis to the fishermen on the ground. And then they save billions of dollars of fuel, searching for fish, which traditionally is done. So the application for space is insurance. For example, there's a crop damage which happens at particular point of time. It's very widely used. Most people don't know, but for insurance sector, it's space is very common. What they do, they take satellite imagery, they identify like if this disaster really happened in that area, they confirm it immediately. Insurance payments happen. No need to go, no physical verification, no going, nothing. So all happens at global scale with space images. And in fact, like I've heard recently that somebody is using like even disbursals for loans of building a home. One floor is built, satellite checks it, and you disburse. Next floor is built, or multiple floors are built, right? So it's like completely transforming. So today what happens is the applications which space can bring, we are barely scratching this. Even bigger impact is like communications. Billions of people do not have access to high-speed internet, so just get connected with space.
So these are the companies who pay you money and you take their objects to space.
Correct.